I wanted to ask you, I think I have an idea, but I want to confirm it. Like, how did you get thrown into this whole world of language learning?
Yeah, that's a good way to phrase it because I think I wasn't exactly thrown. It was, well, for like the longest time, I only spoke English and Spanish. That was up until I was like 14. And then I got to high school and they were like, you shouldn't take Spanish just because you're already like, you already know how to work that or whatever. And I had to take a language for scholarship purposes. So I was like, all right, I'll just take French because that's the closest to it and I can just breeze through it, whatever. And of course, it ended up being easy because there's a lot of cognates and whatever. And then naturally, I kind of just kept going with that. So we also had German classes at school, and I was like, this has been pretty easy. I was like, I should see what German's about. And then, it was just like random things would happen. Like I had a boyfriend with Brazilian family in high school at one point, and then when I got to college, they required a foreign language for the international relations major, which was
Oh,
my major at that time. So it was just like a bunch of things came up that kind of brought all of them into my life. It was like a big snowball. I don't think I was like, I'm going to study a bunch of languages.
oh.
It's just like, oh, I think I have a proclivity for this. I'm going to continue.
No, absolutely. And this is something that I often consider. Nice word, by the way, proclivity. Sometimes, since I'm out of an English speaking environment, I really appreciate these words like, oh, damn, that's a nice word, actually.
Yeah, I've been trying to use my bigger ones recently.
Well, us English teachers, we gotta pull out some surprises here and there.
For sure.
But that's cool because before I moved to Mexico City in 2014, like I had these precursor moments that were kind of like these flashes of, oh, it'd be nice to learn languages. Like for example, when I was in college, I had one really good friend from Iran, and he literally introduced me to like the whole Iranian community in the city that
Oh.
I studied in. And
In
they would
Mexico City or the
what?
in Mexico City?
No, this was in Akron, Ohio, where I studied
Oh, okay. I
college.
was like, that was unexpected. I mean, I know Mexico City has everything, but like that in particular, I was like, never heard anything like that.
Yeah, so they would like teach me Farsi and things like that. And I guess, like in the States, everything is your mom, but for them, it's like, don't talk about my sister. So I would ask them like how to say things about people's sisters and just,
It's
you
so
know,
funny.
that was
And it's the
fun.
same thing in Spanish, at least Mexican Spanish too. It's like the abuelas and the moms are just like, do not touch that territory. That's
Like I
funny.
don't I don't know what it was. I mean, I don't know what it's like when you were going to high school, but like when I was in high school, everything was your mom. Like
Yeah, by the time that I skated around high school, we were long done with
that was long gone.
that.
Another funny thing is like I sometimes feel when I watch your videos or listen to you, I'm like, oh, so that's like how 20-year-old girls
That's how the
speak
kids
English.
are. Yeah, I feel like I'm a kid sometimes still, but I'm literally like when I see kids on TikTok. Okay, we're getting off topic, but whatever. When I see kids on TikTok like 16, 15, I'm like, gosh, when did I stop being 15 and 16? Like I just got thrown into life. But here we are. I'm happy
Right.
with being alive at 20.
It's living is good for us. So you know, you have a mom that speaks some languages as well, and you talk about proclivity. And I've had like these moments that made me realize, oh, I love languages. But then I think that my dad also really loved languages, and he studied various, and he was from
Mhm.
Mexico, spoke English perfectly. Had studied Italian at some point, French apparently. He told me, well, was his
Mm.
favorite language. He stayed in France. Do you ever like feel that it's almost kind of like, I don't know, I feel like as much of it's like interest that there's something in me that makes it like that much more. Have you ever thought that?
Yeah. Yeah, because you have like parents that have two different native languages, so of course that's like literally part of you. I think for me, I don't know, I don't want to kind of feed into the idea that language learning, I guess a good ability for it has to be born into you or something like that. Because a lot of people think like, oh, I just can't do it. Like you just have to be born talented, and I don't think that I was born with any type of particular talent. I think I was just like exposed from like a really early time because I remember like on Saturdays when it was like my mom was cleaning the kitchen or you know, whatever, just sometimes on Sundays or the weekend, she would be playing like, you know, the Spanish radio on the like old ass General Electric alarm clock radio thing that we used to have. And
Nice.
like, and then one of my sisters, Caroline, she had like a Shakira CD that she would play all the time. And so like, you know, when I was a kid, I was definitely surrounded by it, and I would brag to all my friends like, my mom speaks languages. Yours doesn't. Like, I don't myself, but my mom does. So, you know, click on that.
Just
But
showing up big time. Oh, by
yeah,
the way.
yeah. So I think it's just that I was exposed to it really early, and it gave me like a, you know, like a curiosity for it, and you know, yeah, just
Cool.
all that.
And so your best language, foreign language, is Spanish, correct? Like, is there anything that comes closer? That's clearly like the dominant one.
Go on. Yeah, and I know because I don't ever. I guess sometimes like when I haven't spoken it for a while, I'll just be like maybe a little stuttery, but that happens
Hmm.
with English sometimes. And there are periods where I'll be speaking like Spanish a lot more than English, like throughout my day, whether it's like from classes, because I take like Spanish classes at school,
Hmm.
or whatever the reason is, you know, and then I'll go back to English and I'll be like, you know, just disoriented. So I don't know, but most of the time I can go back to Spanish and it's just like right back where I left off, and there's not really like a forgetting curve anymore.
Uh-huh.
Because it's been such a long time that I've been speaking it, you know, so
Wow.
definitely it's always just there, ready to go.
Right. And I know you speak it well because, well, not that I'm like the authority or master, but
Totally alright.
no, I think you speak so well. And I wanted to ask you that, you speak this language at an advanced level. So, you know, like, what do you do to keep studying this language, or how do you think you stay still so motivated? Is it a matter of discipline or just pure love of language that, like, because you'd sometimes talk about, oh, here's like a word that you learn at, I don't know, C1, C2, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you go about
Yeah.
that whole
Is it like
thing?
at a like C2 kind of like advanced level?